One of the things we have talked about for months now is the emphasis that we were going to put on letting you know more about the races down ballot that are so vitally important. For instance, Clark County Commission is a gig that doesn't get a lot of publicity, but it is so vitally important, and they make laws with legislation that affects all of us within the sound of my voice. That's why it's good that we have Drew Johnson on. He won the primary for Clark County Commission District F, and Drew Johnson joins us. Drew, how you been?
I've been great. Obviously, I'm really thankful that the voters here in District F, kind of the western part of the county, trusted me with their votes and made me the Republican nominee for District F.
Tell me what that experience was like. I mean, you have been a writer, you've been kind of a kingmaker, but now you're in a position where you're actually in the arena, running for office, answering questions, kissing babies, and doing all the things that politicians do. Tell me what that experience has been like.
Yeah, it's been a different world, obviously, working at think tanks and in the media, promoting conservative values and free market policy ideas. My job has always been to give good lawmakers good ideas, and as you know, here we've got 7 Democrats filling the 7 county commission seats, so there's really no good lawmakers to give conservative, limited government, low-tax ideas to, so that's what encouraged me to jump in. But it is a different world. I mean, I'm used to being behind the scenes, writing things, going on shows like yours or TV every once in a while. But to meet with voters and hear what they're saying and what they're feeling, I was really, at first I was nervous about it. It was a different world for me. But really it's been a blessing to get to meet so many people, knocking doors and giving speeches around the community and understanding what this community needs. And really what I've learned is that we're a community of really great, hardworking people, and problems that we're having now, the problems that we're facing at the local level, the state level, and the federal level, isn't because there's something wrong with the people, it's because there's something wrong with the government. And so when I realized that, I just went forward with a really positive message of giving people more power and taking power away from government, because people make better decisions than government.
You won the primary. How did you do it? What was the winning strategy?
I think there are a couple of things that went into it. First of all is me and my volunteers just worked harder. We knocked more doors. We made more phone calls. We, raised more money, all the things that you really have to do to get your name out. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, we're probably the second most important position to the lives of people in Clark County, behind only the governor. But it's a down ballot race, and not a lot of people knew who I was or my opponents were. And so just meeting people, getting our name out, being able to mail and send text messages and things like that, and letting people know about my background, I think was really important. And the other thing is, we've got a lot of reasons to be concerned about how the voting process works here. There are some things we'd all like to change. But at the end of the day, I knew that saying don't trust, voting in Clark County, that wouldn't be a winning strategy. We still knew that no matter what, the people who got the most votes were going to win on Election Day, and that's what happened. So I encouraged people to get to the ballot box, and I think that really paid off.
What was your margin of victory, and what did you think of the performance of the election folks on? Not just on Election Day, but even beyond Election Day. What did you think of how it went?
So the margin of victory, we had 4 people in the primary, and we won by 20%. We almost got 50% of the vote, just a touch short. So it was really a strong showing. I mean, it really showed that people were buying into the sort of message that I was offering, and that felt great to know that people wanted a pro-freedom, low-tax kind of candidate. And that's exactly what I am. As far as, I've got the same frustration I think everybody else had, which was here we're in 2022, all of the voting machines are hooked up online in a network, and we didn't know how things were turning out until 8 o'clock the next morning. It was really puzzling, and it's something that certainly in the position that I hope to be in here in a few months, I want to take care of. I don't have as many concerns over. There are always going to be concerns with mail ballots, especially when they're universal. But people who vote at the polling place using electronic voting machines, we should be able to know exactly how they vote within a few minutes of poll closing, and to have to wait hours was unacceptable and something that needs to be addressed.
Again, Drew Johnson joining us, won the primary for Clark County Commission in District F, as in Frank. Why is one-party rule bad, whether it be on the county commission or a city council or in Congress? Why is it so important?
In our case, since 2008, Democrats have controlled all 7 county commission seats. So it's not just that there's that they're dominating, it's that there's no other voice. And so when there's no other voice, it means that a lot of people aren't represented. And that's another message that I think is really resonated is, obviously I'm going to represent the voters of my district, of District F, but I'm also going to be a voice for every conservative, every libertarian, every limited government type person, every Republican in Clark County, because I will be that one voice that they'll have. And when power goes unchecked, you're going to have corruption, you're going to have backroom deal making, you're going to have a certain group of lobbyists who always get their way. And you see that in the donations that go to these liberal incumbents on the county commission. Certain businesses just don't get a fair shake because they don't donate enough, they don't have the right lobbyists, that sort of thing. And so by just having one person who can be a watchdog on the inside, hold people accountable, expose things when things are, not being done on the up and up, I think there's so much value, and it'll save taxpayers so much money. It'll end a lot of corruption. Things like the airport name change would have never happened if I could have been there and been the one sane, rational voice. And I think there are a lot of examples like that over the last few years that I'll be able to hopefully stop from happening in the future.
I know you rolled through a whole litany of groups of voters. The one group that you didn't mention, and it's probably the most important right now, and that is independents. And we know that across the state, independents dominate both the Democrats and the Republicans. What is it that independents want as opposed to, say, Democrats or Republicans?
It seems like, and you're exactly right, 31% of my district is independents, nonpartisans. They're who will decide who is going to win in November between me and the progressive extremist Justin Jones, who's the incumbent. And what they're telling me that they want is a fair shake from government. I mean, right now if you wanted to open a hot dog stand, it takes 23 different steps and 3 different fees. There are so many little fees and taxes. There's so much that government is doing right now to make life more difficult. Justin Jones has a proposal right now to make it illegal to have natural gas. So in other words, if you have a natural gas stove, it would be illegal in the county, which of course means that everybody would have to buy a new range. So those sorts of things where, for Justin Jones, who has 5 properties and 2 Teslas, it doesn't matter much. But most people right now are feeling the pain of bad government decisions, and they just want government to get out of the way, get off their backs. And that's why I'm hearing time and time again, and that's why I think our message will not only did it resonate in the primary, but it will resonate in November.
You kind of preempted at least a part of my question, that you talked to a lot of voters, you met with them, you did town halls, you communicated really well to them. I guess my question is, what are the issues? You talked about, trying to open a hot dog stand. What other issues resonate with voters? You are probably the best exit polling there is, because you've talked to just about everybody in your district.
The number one thing I hear over and over, Kevin, is safety, public safety, police officers. People just don't feel as safe right now as they did a year or two ago, and for good reason. I think, if memory serves, murders are up 44%, and robberies are up 33% since this time last year. So, I mean, there's just this, I guess, fear that there hasn't really been since I've lived here for the 8 or 9 years I've been around Clark County. And a lot of that goes back to the sort of social justice warrior mentality of Justin Jones and some of these other county commissioners who don't respect police officers, don't respect the need to have police officers patrolling the community and keeping us safer. And, there's certainly a role for social workers. There's a role for making sure that good cops are hired and that they're acting appropriately. But at the end of the day, these officers need to feel respected. They need to feel supported by the county commissioners who, at the end of the day, control a lot of their budget. And they don't right now. And so we need to make sure that they have the tools that they need to make Clark County a little bit safer, a heck of a lot safer than it's been these last few years.
I know time-wise, when these midterm elections would be sleepy kind of affairs, nothing much would happen till Labor Day. Now everybody's hitting the ground running. Within a nanosecond of the polls closing, people were in general election mode. What about for you? When do you start firing up the general election?
Yeah, there's really no time to sleep. I mean, it'll be a little bit later on towards the end of the summer when we start mailing and do more of our ads because those seem to be more effective a little closer to Election Day, obviously. But as far as getting out, meeting with people, meeting with donors, speaking at events, that's happening now. I mean, the call I made before I talked to you was to schedule a speaking appearance. And so that never ends. And really the issue I'm facing is even though we're in a toss-up district, even though Republicans should have this wave, is raising money. That's always an issue for Republicans here in the state. And, Justin Jones's wife worked for many years for Harry Reid, and so they've got a lot of that sort of Harry Reid machine money and connections. And so, every dollar I get will be vital in helping us win in November, and I think we've got a great path forward and the opportunity to raise enough money to get it done. But I encourage everybody to go to my website, which is drewfornevada.com. And if you can give $5 or $10, every little bit's going to help.
And by the way, it's not restricted to just folks in District F because you're going to be representing the entire Clark County Commission when you win the seat. Can you talk a little bit about is it important that even people that don't live in F, help you out?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can donate, and it will be much appreciated if you do, because like I said, there's only one district really that is – the Democrats gerrymander everything so ridiculously in their favor that there are 6 county commission districts that are almost unwinnable. And there was one that they had to make winnable for Republicans in order to still enough Democrats for the others to be so safe. And it's this district. So if we're going to win one district anytime for Clark County Commission for the next few years, it's going to be this one, District F. It's going to be with me, Drew Johnson, against Justin Jones, this very unpopular, sort of scandal-plagued incumbent. And so, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, you want somebody who can be a watchdog, who can hold people accountable, who can stop corruption from happening. I am the exact person to do that. And so I encourage everybody in Clark County to support my race, to get to know more about me and what we're trying to do. Again, you can do that by going to our website, which is drewfornevada.com. And certainly appreciate all the support, financial, door knockers, people putting signs out, anything you're willing to do to help, for the first time since 2008, put a Republican on the Clark County Commission.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. Drew, always good to visit with you. Thanks so much, man. I know we'll talk again soon.